Hey guys! Oh my gosh, it's a little bit gloomy today where I am. It's raining outside. But of course I had to come through. I couldn't just sleep in and not review some stories. I got a list already of people who want reviews, so here we are. So today, which actually you're going to see today a lot, I'm trying to cram a lot of filming into one day so that I can free up my Sunday for a lot of other things. But for today, I'm going to be doing a lot of the Wattpad stories, or a lot of people have responded to the messages. I basically send out messages saying, hey, I haven't read your book, I want to read your book, and I want to review your book. Are you okay with that? And they will either respond or they don't. I've got a few people who just haven't responded, and I got a few people who are like, yeah, go ahead. I mean, there's like grammatical errors, but yeah, go ahead. Which is cool because, free advertisement for anybody is always a good thing. Plus, on top of that, it's not like I'm trying to bash people's story. I don't bash people's story. I just tell you what I think about it, and what I think is a singular one person. I just don't understand why I have to explain this, but there's me and the rest of the world, and so me telling you my opinion is merely me telling you my opinion. A lot of people can disagree with me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I know some of my taste in reading or some things that would cause me to close a book won't cause other people to close a book. But anyway, let's go ahead and get ahead with this. I am reviewing a couple of stories today, but the first one we're going to be doing is My Bodyguard Hates Me. It's by interracial love _interracial _love _. And I'm about to get into it and tell you some numbers. First of all, she did publish a story March 21st, 2017. She published it last year, right before my birthday. So that's pretty cool. She has about 72.5k reads, and she has 3.6 votes, and she has 23 parts to the story. When I last looked through the chapters, I believe one or two of them are actually author notes, just a heads up, so that you won't be like, she said 23 and there's only 20. Okay, yeah. So let's just get right on into it. The cover to me is kind of cute. It has kind of a sassy feel. It looks like your pretty average Wattpad cover if someone hasn't really gone into trying to make a cover. But it looks pretty cool. It's pretty neat. It's something I think a lot of teenage girls would be like, oh yeah, click, I want to check that out. The summary, here we go. So when are we getting this so-called safe place? I ask his stone-faced ass. I'm just trying to get a little conversation going. It is too quiet. The only thing I hear is the car engine or my breathing, his quiet ass. I mean, he won't even turn the radio on. Who does that? Since he isn't going to talk to me, I might as well get comfortable. I lean my seat back and put my feet up on the dashboard. Luckily, I had painted my toes the day before. Get your feet down now. I look at him stunned. No, now you want to talk? Being the stubborn person I am, I keep my feet up. He swerves the car to the side of the road so quickly I bang my head against the window. Ow, I complain. I'm probably going to have a concussion now. He turns toward me with such a hateful look I flinch. Get your fucking feet down or I will cut your pinky toes off and grill them. Shit. He is pissed off. This bitch put her feet on this damn dashboard. Shit. My feet are back in their shoes in a second record time. He pulls back on the road, then at least my feet don't stink. Shit. Oh my gosh. Okay, so okay, let me just go right in. First of all, she put a scene in there instead of a summary. But again, like I said, at least she put something. A lot of people think putting nothing or a little sentence is going to get people reading your book. And I'm going to tell you right now, no. It will. I mean, I guess if someone's curious, but that's not a tactic that always works. It's one of those tactics that might work, might not work. It is what it is. Now, unlike before, I actually pre-read her chapters. I pre-read the 3 chapters, and I have to say, I always do this, normally I do a chapter per chapter. So first chapter, I was a bit get what she's doing, because again, she explained at the end that she was just trying to give you a taste of the character before she gave you their background story. But there are a few things that I was kind of I feel like you could have done a little bit more. For instance, I did absolutely love that the intro was not an alarm clock, that we went in and she was automatically having conversation and we were just kind of thrown into the situation. I'm a big fan of being brought into a situation from either a narration or action. I'm not a big she woke up kind of person. It's akin, Wattpad's alarm clock is akin to a regular writer's it was raining outside. And if you don't know what I mean, is that when agents always crack jokes about the fact that a lot of people, when they send in their manuscripts, the beginning would open with, it was raining outside, or the rain tapped against the window, or it was pouring, and like contemplative openings that really just start the story kind of. So yes, I did enjoy that she opened the book with a fresh opening. She was talking about Nutella, which I completely understand, because in my family, if food can become a point of contention at all times, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm a heavy believer that if I bring something into the house, I should be the first to open it and to last to throw it away. Like, I should be the last person to get something and the first person to get something. In between, my family can go at it. But if I come in the house and I wanted a sip of juice and you already opened it, I'm upset. If I want the last sip of juice and you put an empty carton back on the fridge, we fighting. That's all. We fighting. I don't even know why we having this conversation. I'm just here to beat your butt. That's it. So anyway, she's arguing with this guy named Michael about him touching her Nutella, and I thought it was kind of funny. I thought that was a hilarious opening. I was like, oh, okay, so he stole her stuff. I do think she's extra, but I kind of feel like when I was looking at some of the comments that the character is extra. That's her character trait, is being extra. So I do think the character's trait is being extra. At first, I was kind of not feeling it. I was like, oh no, I don't like her being a little too extra. But okay, all right, it's a character trait. So as we go on, she's arguing with her friend Michael, blah, 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 blah. And then her friend Jake shows up. And if you're a fan of this book, you already know who Jake is. He's one of her other friends. I guess she has like 2 best guy friends. The only problem is she just didn't give me enough to know, are they like high school friends? Are they college friends? I know they're in college, but like it's like not enough. Like, I know she studies art, but like, does she study art because she's free to do it? But then you imply that she doesn't have as much money as Jake does. So is she studying art more for a passion thing? Because when you go to college and you're like, oh, I do art, a lot of people kind of like, there's always that like, well, what are you gonna do with that? It's kind of like if you major in writing, like, what are you gonna do with that, unless you're doing like technical writing. But there's not a lot of background. But this is the first chapter. The only thing I do say, I was kind of, I won't say ticked off because it's stupid. I wasn't really mad. I was just kind of like, as a reader, I was kind of like, well, you missed an opportunity. She basically is talking to her friend. This is where you cut. This is where I slice and edit. Her friend Jake basically has dropped out of college and didn't tell his parents. And I guess his parents are like are wealthy people. They're pretty well off. And he is talking to Kay about, and yeah, the main character's name is Kay. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Kay, about how he dropped out and that he didn't tell his parents. And Kay's like, what the fuck, dude? You just can't like drop out like that. My issue with that was kind of like, I feel like that could have been a little bit longer. Like, I feel like there's a lot more conversation that could have gone into that about Jake making the choice. And she was kind of like, oh, well, it's up to you. But that was just a bit too easy because of her reaction the first time. It felt like the conclusion was a bit too quick. Like, okay, so your best friend has just dropped out of college. His family will definitely not be happy about that. So, oh, okay, well, I mean, it's up to you. But you already know it's going to be an issue. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, I just dropped out of school and it's, like, over. It's going to be an issue. It's like anything. If your family find out they dropped out of college, like, really dropped out of college, not like, oh, I just stopped taking classes, but, like, really dropped out, and they have expectations, I feel like that could have been a little bit more. It would have showed a bit of Kay's softer side, and also brought in a bit of a reality into the story, because a lot of people forget that in any story, any romance, no matter how fiction it is, you have to still maintain a bit of a reality, a bit of a grit of reality, because it keeps it makes the fiction so much more exciting if you can keep a good balance of reality in the story. Okay. Then we go into the second chapter, and she does 3 chapters about Kay. So I didn't really get anything about the bodyguards, because I only read about 3 to 4 chapters, and I only really talk about the intro of the story, because talking about an entire book would just be tiring, and I would never get through all of the Wattpad stories that people offer me. So for this one, it was kind of I would say I kind of got bored in the second chapter. Don't hate me. I just kind of was like, it was kind of like, okay. It was kind of like the same stuff from the first chapter, except we're talking about her class and her teacher, who she doesn't like. She feels like her teacher doesn't really teach her anything. And it's to lead us into the fact that she's going to end up going to a place that's going to lead us into her having a reason to need a bodyguard. So in the second chapter, where basically she goes in and she's talking to, she's just basically inner monologuing. Now I do like how she's inner monologuing, like she's staying within the character's mind. Me, I have a habit of going all over in POV. At one point it was almost confusing. It was like, you know how you're using your right hand, but then you have to do something with your left hand, and then it's like, wait, hold up, which one is your right? Yeah, maybe I'm the only one that does that. Maybe I'm the only one that have those issues. But yeah, so she basically ends up going to class, and her teacher's like, well, I know you guys think I suck as a teacher, so I'm about to let y'all know y'all going to this little museum. And Kay's like, yes, museum life. And so she's finally going to this museum. She meets her friends for lunch, I guess. But see, I still don't know, like, I know they're friends, and now I'm getting a feel that they go to college together, but I still don't know enough, I feel like, to properly judge the characters. Like, I think her thing, I think for interracial love, she just needs a little bit more detail in her chapters. I mean, of course, she started this last year, and she's still writing it. Like, you're still in the process of writing it, so there's a lot you can go back and edit, so it's not like a big deal. But for me, I just need a little bit more detail. And I would tell somebody else, I have other people I tell, I don't need all that detail. I don't need you to tell me how wet the grass was for like a good 30 minutes, but just a bit more detail. I mean, she go into detail about their outfits. I would love for detail about them as characters and their background and who they are. Like, and the thing is, you don't really have to spend hours writing to do that. Like, it's just like her talking to her mom on the phone, or her complaining about her brother wanting her to do something, or her complaining about something from her hometown. These are simple things that you can do in order to just, you know, give us a bit more about the characters. She's telling her friends basically, and then one of her friends are like, I really want to go, but she's like, do you want to go or not? Like, he's kind of like, well, I wish I could go, but she's really not like saying he could go. It's just really funny. I actually like some of the conversations between the friends. Like, the narration between the friends is like pretty lit. So I'm just like, you're probably wondering why this is going faster. It's because I've been practicing. Guys. You can only upload a 15-minute video, guys. Just saying. So the second one, the third chapter, which is when she actually arrives at the museum. So she's only there, and Jake, the guy who was trying to be a bitch last time, trying to like, I want to go, I don't want to go. He's there, but okay, so I was wrong. All her friends do come. Her two guy friends end up coming because they were whining about it in the last chapter, and so they are there. But then apparently it's like suddenly everyone is down on the ground because now it's being robbed. So the museum basically gets attacked, and they're stealing art, and like everyone is screaming and running, whatever. Kay manages to just fall, and they hide, and she actually looks around the corner to see if the bad guys are still there. Basically, they get attacked, and apparently they're Germans. Oh God. I used to speak German. Not anymore. That was years ago. Years ago. But anyway, they get attacked. Anyway, woo! I must still be sleepy. Okay, anyway. So they basically get attacked, and she ends up like sneaking a peek around the corner because they're hiding. Unfortunately for Kay, one of the guys spots her, drags her out, and is like, we're about to beat your ass. And then they're like, we're gonna take you, blah, blah, blah. And next thing she knows, she's in their hands. She, of course, gets caught. And I do like this part where she says, this is usually the part in a movie where everybody yells at the stupid bitch to run. And yeah, usually in the movies, this is the part where you run or you keep your mouth shut. Kay does neither. She doesn't run, and she doesn't keep her mouth shut, so she's just asking to get her self in a worse situation, which she basically does. And I can't tell you what happens next because now you have to go in the link and read the story. I mean, that's just how it is. You can't be mad at me because I only did 4 to 3 chapters. I actually went to the 4th chapter because I wanted to figure out what was going to happen. Honestly, for me, and this is me being honest, I probably wouldn't, on my own as a reader, continue past the 3rd chapter. And this doesn't mean her story is bad. I mean, this is not like one of those, I don't bash people's stories, so it's not me saying I wouldn't read her story. I feel like if she went back and she added a little bit more detail, she gave us a little bit more background, and she played with it a bit more, I think I would really get into it. Again, this is only 3 chapters, so for me, this is my judgment from only reading 3 chapters. This is not my judgment from reading her entire book. So I could be missing out on some really important stuff, some stuff that you guys would be like, what are you talking about? It's a great book. But for me, at this moment, being honest, not hateful, I wouldn't probably read past the fourth chapter. It just doesn't capture me the way some other books did. But I won't say that there weren't good parts. Of course, I liked her narration. I liked how she opened her story. I liked how she had characters conversating kind of along with the book. For me, in this instance, for me, I would say that she actually should have had more detail, just a bit more detail, and it would have captured me automatically. Outside of that, I mean, obviously the numbers speak for themselves. People like the story, and I feel like she would even get more readers if she just went back and kind of perked up her first chapters. If she perked up her first 3 chapters, dude, I'm pretty sure she'd get up to about 100, 125K real easily, because the idea of the story is really unique. The girl character is very strong and very extra. The guy characters are funny. So I feel like, yeah, definitely I would suggest going back and just kind of bumping up your first chapters, and you're golden, sweetheart. You're golden. I wouldn't continue reading after the 3rd chapter. I went to the 4th chapter because I wanted to know what happened. But outside of that, I think if you just add a bit more detail, you'll be golden. Sigh out.